up too many stairs, so I just caught my breath. Thankfully, we were going a little long. But my name is Matt Dombrowski, and I am a professor at UCF, but I'm also a creative director at Limbitless Solutions, which I'm going to talk to you a little bit today. And when Peter and Martin invited me here today, it was a real honor, and I like to think Limitless is a bit themed experience adjacent. So I hope in this presentation you'll see some of the parallels within what a lot of you do, whether you're on the research side, the creative side, and whatnot, and how we all kind of are striving to essentially create moments, not just things. And that's something at Limitless, what we've done from the get-go. So what is Limitless? I want to start with just, hopefully, fingers crossed, a quick video to kind of sum up what we do. Maybe. See the play.
So we're just gonna go down here. We're looking for 912.
Hey Alex, how are you? Pleasure to meet you. I have another bionics expert on hand, so I thought I'd drop by.
Thank you.
Yes, a pleasure. Nice bow tie, by the way.
Thanks.
How were your travels?
It's very good.
Well, I thought I'd bring one of my gauntlets and match it up with yours and see if everything's copacetic. You want to have a look?
Sure.
Ready?
Yep.
Great.
Each one looks the same.
Actually, I think yours might be better than mine. What do you say we both try them on, do a progress report?
Okay.
You know who that is?
Iron Man.
What's his name?
Robert.
Great. God, dude, it's even cooler than I thought. I'm having a technical glitch. As you can see, my light isn't working. Half the time, I design one of these, it winds up breaking on me. But what I do is I keep working on it, kind of like you're working on it with Albert.
He keeps working and working until he gets it right.
Yeah, I think yours is still a little bit more right than mine because at least,
The lights work.
your light works, yeah. Ah, look at that, Dan. It's a marriage of robotic technologies. Bang, nailed it. Love it. Hey, good job, Albert.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Albert has made it so affordable. I'm probably going to start farming out a lot of my tech work to Albert, too. I feel like he could cut the price point down on one of my suits, which right now is, I guess, about, $1.5 billion.
All right. So, thank you. Yeah. This project was actually started by a group of UCF students. An engineer heard a radio interview about a prosthetic arm and the ability to use 3D printing to create these devices and make them more affordable, and got together with his friends, fellow UCF students, to create this amazing initiative. We actually just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, which is pretty amazing. Prosthetics for children are really hard to get. They are extraordinarily high in cost. Every time you get a new prosthetic, it could cost anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. This, I would like you to think about, for those of you who have children, every time you have to replace a pair of your child's shoes. It's expensive. Shoes are expensive as they are, but $50,000 shoes, oof, my kids. Satisfaction and fit, cultural pressures we see in mass media, not to, pick on any theme parks or major companies, but Captain Hook, he's a villain. Bucky Barnes lost his arm in a tragic accident. We tend to not see limb-different individuals as people who are just born that way. And that was one of our initial goals. Our goal was to empower others through creative practice, and we couldn't do that alone. Themed experience and Limitless, I feel, have a shared vision. It revolves around these moments. And these moments, as a lot of you know through your research, your design, your working at all the different parks, really last with us for a lifetime. And we wanted to create the same thing at our research lab. So this includes the power of visual storytelling, a shared focus, but a transformative theme, creating personal connections, again, like I mentioned, that last a lifetime, and building inclusive spaces and communities. Sound familiar? This is the same thing we do, hopefully, at our different themed experiences. And as I mentioned, visual storytelling is the starting point. No one may go out of their way to look up the need for child prosthetics. In fact, a lot of our kids, when they would go to the grocery store, would hide behind their parents because people would ask, "What's wrong with you?" Or, even worse, just not talk to them at all. That's pretty heavy for a kid. But when they would wear their Iron Man prosthetic, it would change completely the narrative. The tone of the person would change to, "That's amazing, I want to wear your prosthetic, I want one, you're a superhero." And this allowed not only the child to have confidence, but it changed the way we speak about inclusivity, disability, and beyond. We as creators have that power. We have the power to change. And so we realized really quickly this is more than just picking things up. This is Shahali. She's a fashion model, and she wore one of our arms on the New York runway. This is before I got started, so the team of engineers got a bedazzler and bedazzled the arm. I'm very proud of them for that. The only piece of fashion to be worn in consecutive years on the runway, which I always thought was interesting. What we do is we create bionic arms that are expressive and empowering, and we also work with accessibility-centric devices like Project Xavier, we are nerds, that is a hands-free wheelchair device that you can flex your temporalis muscles to move the wheelchair. We create training video games to teach our kids how to use these so they don't feel a lack of confidence when it comes to adapting to their advice. Each arm has interchangeable sleeves so they can be their favorite superhero, or if they're going on a night, maybe not a night on the town, but an afternoon on the town, they can go ahead and wear their favorite sleeve. This can't be done again alone. When I met Limitless, it was a year in, and they were in a closet in the engineering building. They now have a 7,000 square foot facility, and we have over 52 interns a semester. Interns from not only arts and engineering, but healthcare, sciences, and everywhere in between. Again, unintentionally mirroring what you see at these major corporations. Here's a shot of Annie getting her device. I'll play that very quickly. Without any of the aesthetics, the arms work by flexing your muscle, and essentially how hard you flex can change the gesture. We do have parental controls on the arms, so no silly gestures are happening. Just a little bit of Annie flexing there. And then when we put the actual aesthetics on, you now have this reaction. She's happy, I promise. My moment actually came when about a year into this mission, we were developing video games. I met a young boy named Zachary. And Zachary was getting his bionic arm for the first time. He was really nervous and excited. I was extraordinarily nervous. I'm hooking up the video game. This is pre-children for me, so no gray hair, about 40 pounds lighter. And I hooked him up to this controller, and I mean, I was being so careful. He's punching me. He's like, "Just do it, man." And the game was you picked a nose. When you flexed, you pick a nose, and you pull out a Lego. They're kids. They pull out a piece of pie. But this is something that changed. This reaction. This reaction was my, what I like to refer to, limitless moment. And I think all of us in this field, no matter the research, no matter the data, we got to remember the moments, right? We have to think about these. And I remember leaving this event, me and my research partner, Peter Smith, and we were in tears, two grown men walking across campus, just bawling our eyes out, that we made such an impact in this young boy's life. And we continued to work with the team over the last 10 years to make these impacts. And these are some of the moments we got to witness over and over again. We invited more and more students to be a part of it. We shared that common purpose to design for this community in mind. We were the people who amplified their voices. Here are some of the arms like they are today. They came a long way from bedazzled arms. We use airbrushing. We visited Disney and all of their facilities, Universal and their facilities, and we creatively borrowed from them. They helped us. That's the thing. When we found we asked people for their assistance, they were fine. They were excited to share. And these moments of loyalty, inspiration also led to leadership. Our goal was to make not only a lifelong connection with our bionic kids, but also all of our UCF students. We've served over 600 UCF students in that 10 years. All undergrads, by the way, which is pretty amazing to see. These students have gone on to lead video game companies, work at theme parks, and be the industry leaders in their own fields, which is really great because they're bringing that empathy of design, they're bringing that accessibility-minded, centric focus to the table. We wanted to create a network of empowered individuals, but also people who were selfless and could use creativity to empower. This is the goal for, I see just walking into the conference today, so many young people visiting this conference. There are cool rides, there are cool technology, don't get me wrong, it's kind of fun. But the idea is, it's all about the why, right? It's about designing with empathy. And here's one of our former interns, Anna, working with Eloise. She's given her tips on how to paint. Eloise is, the little girl. Here's some of our engineers hooking up the kids to their bionic arm. And these moments have lasted not only with that young child, but with these learners every day. And my goal as a professor is, yes, we have moments in our classroom, but we can do more. We can take these moments out. We can take them into the real world. We can empower our student learners. Here are some other moments. Just people coming from the street, coming to see what Limitless was all about, and making new friends. Here are the amazing students I work with. I have to give them a shameless plug in any presentation I do because they make it happen. But in the end, it's about that long-term visual storytelling. This is young Annie when you saw her pick up the duck. She's now an intern at Limbitless Solutions and an international business major at UCF. She is now an advocate in her own community. She's spoken at the United Nations, I think 3 or 4 times, probably even more, about the importance of accessibility and inclusivity. That little Iron Man child, not so little. He's not a child anymore. He's about my height. He's a linebacker on his high school football team. I just saw him at our 10-year gala. We picked up where we left off, geeking out about video games and everything in between. Zachary, somebody I'm closely connected with, because that was my moment, discovered that he wanted to help children too. And he gave myself and Victor Davila, who's an illustrator and professor at the University of Central Florida with me, an idea about a comic book where, guess what? The character did not lose their arm in a tragic accident. They weren't a villain. They were just born that way. And he wrote a lovely story about how not a bully was bullying him about his arm, but it was really just about a misunderstanding. And we did it through a comic book, and today, Zachary has raised over $22,000 selling that comic book and donated it to more children to get their bionic limbs. That is long-term storytelling. These are the moments that last. I always tell people it's like a ripple. It should carry on and grow and get bigger. And I've been really fortunate in what I do to see this happen. And I asked Nico, Zachary's dad, to give me another moment, just to tie it back into all of you who do amazing themed experiences. This is Zachary with another moment he will never forget. Not only one of him hugging his dad with 2 arms, maybe for the first time, but also him visiting Disney when he came and got his limb. That's also, again, there for him. So we have the power for all of this, the science and the data and the creativity and the technology. We have the power to focus on just one individual can change what we're doing. And I always love to play this little video. A little can go a long way. This young boy called us out when he got his bionic arm, and he said to us, "Look, look." And we thought maybe he broke it by punching his brother or something. But he told us this is the first time that he saw his shadow with 2 arms. So don't take for granted the little things. In everything we do, whether you're making bionic arms or if you're designing an experience, a moment, keep that in mind. So where do we start? Well, for me, it's starting with the next generation of students, learners, and creators. It's empowering them to have the resources and the stage to be able to create and develop and amplify others' voices. All of my students find their why, but more importantly, they bring their own backgrounds and experiences to this. This isn't my story. It's not my story, I didn't create it, but it's one that I amplify. We teach all of our students everything from leadership to design, accessibility, that power of moments like I mentioned, and again, supplementing what they're learning outside of their amazing classes to kind of think about the impact. We don't think about impact as much when it comes to maybe taking a test in school, right? I don't remember, I got a C on a test, how impactful, right? But we want to create more experiences. And so with, developing themed experience programs, the culture of education is changing, right? We're doing that at UCF with our graduate programs, with our different departments. The silos have been broken down. We're starting to see that the real world doesn't always function like the old university world. And we need to change it to align to those 21st centuries. So thinking about this in the long term, I always tell my students that, I am not the voice, we are not the voice, we are the microphone. And whether I'm teaching my student to amplify their voice or my students are working with bionic kids to amplify the voices of bionic kids, again, that selflessness and that shared interest is so important. Empowering design doesn't end with our experience alone. It doesn't end with a visit to Disney or Universal. It should linger. You should remember it. It should leave those lifelong moments for those kids, adults, I love the Disney adult picture. That was great. I should have wore that outfit today. But the idea behind it is that all of us have the power to elicit these moments. And all of us, if you think about it in this room, we have those moments every day. Do we recognize them? Not always, right? So I challenge you all to think about that the next time you're creating that next amazing world, or you're doing research on the different populations of theme parks, that human experience is everything. And so I heard we were a little short on time, so I'm going to get done a little early, just to line it up. But I will end with this: be you, be limitless, empower, inspire, and remember, you create and you have the power to create these moments to change. So, thank you.